Good morning, everyone. Let's get started just like usual. So we're going to go ahead and elongate that spine, roll those shoulders back and down, and we're going to chin tuck for 10. Let's get ready and begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Let's reset. So let's make sure the spine's still lengthened. Roll the shoulders back and down again. Okay, we're going to head turn 5 each side, alternating. Ready? Here we go. 1, back to center. 2, back to center. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, all right, first part done. Now we're going to get into our warm-up. We're going to do 2 rounds through. It's a little over 10 minutes long. It's a warm-up that's going to progressively turn into our conditioning part, so our body should be nice and warm by the time we get to the strength part of our workout today, okay? So it's 30 seconds of one exercise, 30 seconds of another, 10 seconds rest, and we've got 5 blocks of 30, 30, 10 seconds rest, okay? All right, we're going to do 2 rounds through, and we're going to do 1 at the end then, too, after we do our strength workout, okay? So we're going to start with our 4-count cherry pickers. We've got our heels wider than shoulder width apart, all right? We're going to kind of tuck the pelvis under so that when we push the hips back, we're nice in one, solid line through our spine here, right? The hips come back out, middle, in, and up, okay? You can do this from a seated position as well, okay? Up, okay? And then we're also going to do alternating side bends. So we can either, if you have problems reaching up overhead, if this hurts your shoulder, you can reach forward and over, okay? And if you're okay, you can come overhead. That's fine too. Seated or standing for that one. Let's get ready. We're going to start with our 4-count cherry pickers and begin. Okay, so I'm going to do them standing, but you can be seated, out, middle, in, up. Okay, we're going to go right into our alternating side bends after this one. Okay, just warming up the body here. Wide stance with those legs. We're feeling the back side of the body warm up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Side bends, okay, seated or standing. If you're seated, you don't have to worry about that little toe tap. And remember, if coming up overhead is hard, that's a difficult range of motion for you, if you feel pain or discomfort, bring it forward and over, okay? Next, we're going to go into these tiny little hip switches. It's like a micro lateral lunge. I'll demo before we get started. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're coming wide. We're going to switch. You can hold on to a chair if you want. Okay, so we're just going to switch. We're just opening up those hips. Remember, warm up, we're going to get progressive. If you're seated, we're going to do our abduction. Okay, so this is your alternative. Okay. All right. You may find, depending on your ability, and again, I can pretend I'm holding a chair in front of me here if you need it, okay? You might not, all right? You can always get a little wider if you feel confident and comfortable and you're able to, okay? But just staying nice and micro is good too. We're gonna go into a squat to calf raise. Here we go. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Squat. Toes up, okay? You can hold on to a chair here if you need the extra support, okay, for stability. You're seated, leg raise, calf. Leg raise, calf, okay? Two and 1. Okay, next we're gonna do our knee raise to calf stretch. Okay, so I want that back heel to come and hit the ground. okay? If you need more support, you can hold the side of your chair here and just do one arm with that knee, okay? And that'll give you, you know, the balance you might need. And if you're advanced, you can just do it body weight, okay? And if you're seated here, what we're gonna do here is knee flex, knee flex, okay? Knee flex, all right? So we're getting the hip flexor joint as well as the ankle joint. Okay, other side, all right? So switch it up. Take your time. Remember, your good form is going to dictate your speed, okay? And the better that form gets, and the more you remember the pattern, the movement pattern, speed will come with it, okay? But for now, just go through it with proper technique. 2 and 1. Okay, modified jumping jacks are next. Okay, so overhead and tap. If overhead hurts, I want you to take it back instead, okay? All right, you pick. This is gonna be abduction. Here's my seated variation, okay? All right. Should start to feel that body temperature coming up. We're taking the joints through their full range of motion, okay? Or to the best of our ability. If your arms don't want to come up all the way overhead, but they come up shoulder height, that's okay too. Okay? 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna side step squat. Other side, side step squat, okay? Side step squat, all right? Keep that up. If you're seated, leg extension, lateral tap. Leg extension, lateral tap, okay? Otherwise, side step, squat. We have one more duo before we go back to the top. So next we're gonna do our ground overhead. So our feet are facing forward, our toes are forward, wider than shoulder width. We're gonna pick it up, put it away, okay? Pick it up, put it away. So push those hips back, core is engaged, put it away. Okay, keep the glutes engaged as you're driving up. You can take the overhead pressing out and just pick it up, pull it to your chest, okay? And if you're seated, we're doing an alternating leg press, all right? We have round 2 of this coming up next, but we're gonna do 2 squats and a knee raise next. So final exercise is squat, squat, knee, squat, squat, other knee, okay? All right, keep it going, or we're doing leg extension, knee, knee, okay? Leg extension, knee, knee. That's your seated variation, okay? All right, we're going back to the top, round 2, okay? 4 count cherry picker, wide stance, wider than your shoulders, toes are facing forward, okay? Here we go, we're gonna reach out, middle, in, up, okay? Warming up the back side of the body, taking their hips through the range of motion, stretching out the hamstrings dynamically. We're doing alt side bends next. Seated or standing. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So remember, if overhead is too much, take it up and over, okay? You can come out on that 45. You can do this from your chair too. Next, we're gonna have those mini lateral hip shifts, okay? So we're gonna go nice and wide with our stance. And if you're seated, you're gonna do alternating lateral taps. 2 and 1. So now we're gonna go nice and wide, wider than our cherry pickers, okay? As wide as we can. Remember, you can use a chair here too. Just little tiny shifts, okay? Feel those hips warming up. If you start to feel more comfortable, okay, and you wanna take it down a little further, I'm driving up. See this knee right here? That's the bent one. Drive through the heel, engage that glute. Drive, drive, okay? Squat to calf raises next, okay? Let's get ready. Heels are shoulder width apart, or you're gonna do alternating leg extensions. Squat, lift, okay? Seated, you're gonna do a leg extension, then the other side, leg extension, and then a lift of the ankle or the heels. We're gonna do our knee repeaters next, okay? Two, and one. Next one, remember when you're seated here, your knee repeater, you're gonna do knee up, flex, knee up, flex, all on one side. Otherwise, they're standing. Here we are. I'm putting that back heel down on the floor. I'm feeling that dynamic stretch through my calf muscle while I'm taking my shoulders through their full range of motion. Some of you, maybe you only come up to here with the shoulders. That's okay. Work through your range, okay? Should feel that increase in intensity now. 3 more seconds, then we switch. 2 and 1, other side. Remember, if you're seated, it's knee to ankle flex. We're going into modified jumping jacks after these. Remember, you can hold on to the side of the chair with that stationary leg. Here's my imaginary chair, and I'm gonna. All right, so that's another alternative. 2, 1. Good, let's get ready for jumping jacks. Remember, if overhead hurts, you can come halfway or you can pull them back instead, okay? All right, seated or standing, here we go. This is paired with our side step squats. Okay, so if you're seated, you're gonna continue with your abduction. We're just gonna take a break with the arms, okay? Good. All right, so here we go. We're gonna side step squat, bring it together. Side step squat, bring it together. Good, take your time. Sometimes learning new patterns can trip us up a time or two. That's normal, right? Take some practice and effort. Round to overhead is next, okay? All right, so remember we're nice and wide, wider than shoulder width, toes are facing forward. All right, we're gonna pick up the package and put it away, okay? Core is engaged, here we go. Push those hips back, pick it up, put it away. Using a lot of core and glute strength here. Okay, make your mind muscle connection there. Keeping your core engaged, pulling that belly button back and driving through your heels and squeezing your glutes is how we protect our lower back and use proper muscles. Here we go, last one. 2 squats, squat, squat, knee. Okay, remember if you're seated, you're gonna do a leg extension to a knee tuck. We're moving on to our second block after this, okay? Body should feel nice and warm. 3, 2, activity completed. And 1. All right, guys. Don't forget about those. We will do one more set to finish, kind of to shake everything out after our strength blocks. We have 2 strength blocks coming up, and we're just gonna take them. There's 4 exercises, but we're just gonna do straight through today for 3 rounds, okay? So nothing has changed with our goalpost. We did these last week at our goalpost, seated or standing with internal and external rotation. And then the second one is our half bicep curl to no money drill, okay? So we're working on shoulder health and prepping the shoulders for more rigorous shoulder work to come. And also just to, this is prehab work. This is to keep our shoulders healthy here, okay? After those 2, our hinge and row. So our feet come right underneath our hips, toes are forward, hinge, row, squeeze the glutes up, okay? All right, and then after that, our final exercise in this block is a goblet squat. So we can hold our weight, heel shoulder width apart, toes slightly flared out, lower, drive it up through your range, okay? And drive it up, okay? All right, I'm going to do round one seated for demonstration purposes, and then I'll move to standing, okay? So we are starting with our lighter weights here, okay? And we are starting with our goalpost fly to internal, external rotation. So light weights or no weights. I would say 1 to 2 pounds or some water bottles if you feel that weight is appropriate for you. And it's not necessary. Some days I choose to do them body weight too, okay? So just think of health, shoulder health and mobility here, okay? All right, goalposts ready in 3, 2, and 1. So here's my goalpost, right? And then we're gonna in, out, down, up, okay? If you're standing, make sure there's no excessive curvature in your lower back, all right? I want you to tuck the pelvis into a pelvic tuck, squeezing the glutes gently to provide that nice base of support. Remember, light weights or no weights here. Water bottles of equal weight are a good option here if you have a heavier pair of dumbbells but would like to use weight for this exercise. Good. A few more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay. Half bicep curl to no money drill. Remember, we want to keep those elbows closer to the rib cage here as we come out for our no money drill. Okay, let's get ready and begin. We're going to curl up halfway, no money, bring it back and down. Okay. Remember, we're not concerned with how far out we can get them. We just want them to go through your own unique range of motion there, okay? If you feel your elbows popping away like this, you've gone too far, okay? So just make sure the elbows stay nice and close. Good. We're going into hinge and row next. So if you have heavier weights, you can increase your weight. Okay. All right, so hinge and row, seated or standing. All right, I'm gonna do this one seated. I'm gonna be at the edge of my chair. My feet are underneath my hips, toes are forward, okay? 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hinge through the hips. We're gonna row, and then we're squeeze the glutes to lift. Hinge, row. Quality over quantity, okay? Stay focused. Try to feel your glutes, your hamstrings, and your back muscles working here. Goblet squat is next. Keeping that navel pulled back towards the spine. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. And then next we have goblet squats. So the stance of your feet, if you're standing, is going to come out the shoulder width. Little slight flare out of those toes so that the knees stay in the direction of the toes, okay? If you're seated with me, we're going to do an alternating leg extension. And just for fun, I'm going to hold my weight like a goblet. Okay, so here's our seated variation. If you're seated, you don't have to do this if you don't want. It just good, and this will be the bottom of round 1. So we're going to start with that goalpost fly with internal and external rotation. So we're going back to that lighter weight. Smaller muscle groups will be working throughout the shoulder and upper back. And remember, this next exercise, you can also do body weight. Don't feel like you have to use weight, okay? And time, okay. Top of round 2. I will move to standing for this next 2 blocks. And I'm opting today for 2-pound weights, okay? I wouldn't necessarily go over this weight because it's really about small muscle groups, okay? And what happens if we start using a really heavy weight intended for smaller muscle group exercises, different muscles take over that aren't necessarily supposed to, and it increases our chance for injury, as well as just misses the mark, right? We're not doing what we're set out to do, okay? So don't get into that loop where heavier weight always means better, okay? Sometimes it does, but not in every instance, okay? Three, 2, and 1. Good. All right, we're going to that half bicep curl, no money drill next, okay? You can increase your weight slightly here if you feel like you've got a good handle on it, but it's not necessary, okay? Not heavy, heavy weight, all right? Here we go. We're going to half curl, in, out, in, down. Remember, what are we doing with our elbows? Think about that. We're keeping them nice and tucked to the rib cage, right? Half curl. If you're standing, I want you to keep your glutes squeezed and your core squeezed. We're going into hinge and row next, okay? And that's where if you have a weight selection and you want to go with your heavier weights here, you can, okay? The next exercise. We're almost done this one. 5 more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Moving on to our hinge and row. All right. So seated or standing, our feet are going to be right underneath our hips. Toes are facing forward. I'm going to show from the side profile here. My core is engaged. Okay. I'm going to hinge back, row, squeeze the glutes to lift. Okay. Remember, we're trying to feel the back side of the body. We're feeling the legs and the hamstrings and the lats, okay, behind the rib cage in the back. Always pulling that belly button back to the spine throughout the whole movement. Ten more seconds here, then we're going to go on to goblet squats. 2, 1. Good. All right. Goblet squats are next. Okay. I'm going to hold a dumbbell. You can hold it this way or this way, whatever feels comfortable. Okay. Whatever you like better. All right. Heels are shoulder width apart. Slight flare out of the toes. We're going to lower down, drive up. Remember, you're doing leg extensions, alternating leg extensions if you're seated. Really push the heels into the floor to lift yourself up. Remember, the time is just a guide, so if you need to stop, get your drinks, you guys know, just get your drink, okay? Ten more seconds, and we're gonna go through one more time before we move on, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Good job. One more time through, okay? Goalpost fly, internal, external. Remember, you can do these body weight. Nice little recovery after those last 2 exercises. Seated or standing, if you're standing, tuck the hips, okay? Tuck the pelvis. Final set of these. Check in on your spine. Make sure you don't have any excessive curving in the lumbar spine, the lower part. Make sure your tummy is tucked in and not rounding outwards, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, final set of half curl to external and internal rotation, that no money drill. All right? I'm just doing a slight increase with my weight here. Ideally, I'd be using 5 pounds, but I have 10s in front of me, so I'm gonna muscle through it, guys, okay? Here we go. Still squeezing those glutes, okay? That's gonna really help. We get into that habit. Eventually it becomes like second nature. You don't even have to think about it. It's just something you start doing, okay? With that consistency, we build those new neural pathways and our body's just like, yep, it's like automatic, it's pilot mode, you know? Autopilot mode. Ooh, 10 more seconds here, then we're gonna go to hinge and row, getting into our lower bodies. 2 and 1, nice work, okay? Hinge and row is next, okay? So we're working the back side of the body, all right? Grabbing heavier weights if you're using them, okay? Feet underneath your hips, toes are forward. We're gonna push those hips back, row it, and then squeeze to lift the glutes and the upper body up. Remember, you kind of want to think of your body as like a suitcase between your thighs and your torso, right? You're hinging through your hips, okay? And your thighs and your torso really don't have any movement in them, right? Think of like a hard shell suitcase. The bottom and top of the suitcase don't move, just the hinge, okay? And time, okay. Last one in this second block, and then we're gonna move on. Goblet squat, so stance, we come out a little wider with those feet, shoulder width, toes out, okay? Remember, you're doing a seated leg extension, alternating for the seated version. Down, going through your range of motion, trying to pay attention that your knees, you know, sometimes you might feel your knees kind of cave in like that. If you notice yourself doing that, I want you to try to pay good attention and put your effort into keeping the knees out, even if that means less reps. That's okay, because we want quality reps, right? We want the right kind of reps. I'm really pressing hard through the heels of my feet to lift up and squeeze those glutes nice and hard at the top. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. All right, guys, take a break. We have one more block that's in that format, just with different exercises, okay? And it's actually only 3 exercises because we have a single arm exercise. So while you're recovering, okay, feel free to march it out or move around, do something that feels good to you, or just rest, okay, while I explain your moves, okay? Whatever feels right for you here. So we are taking our warm-up move, our ground to overhead, okay? And we're gonna use a weight as long as your shoulders are okay with it, okay? So our ground to overhead, we're wider than shoulder width, but our toes are forward. Unlike our squat, when we goblet squat, we're kind of like this, okay? Ground to overhead, my toes are forward and I'm going like this. Do you see how much more my chest faces the floor versus staying in front of you, right? So pick it up, but the hips still go back, right? Here we go, pick it up and put it away. Okay, so now we're using some weight with that as long as it feels okay for you. You can always omit the put away part. You could do pick it up, bicep curl, okay? So you can take the overhead component out completely if you like, all right? After that, lunging, okay? Reverse lunging. If you're having any issues with your feet, maybe you wanna do like a lateral lunge instead, okay? You could do something like that. And then our last one is a single arm row, okay? So we have to get both sides. We're gonna do one side, and then we're gonna do the other side, okay? So that is our next block. So let's go ahead and get ready. We're gonna start with ground to overhead, okay? So we're gonna take 1 or 2 weights, depending on the amount of your weight. you could use one or two. If you have two light ones, you might want to do two light ones side by side, okay, like this, okay? You have one heavier one, maybe you just want to do one heavier one, okay? I'm going to do one heavier one. All right, here we go. Ground overhead in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we're nice and wide with that stance so we can pick up the box that's in between our legs. Boom. Okay, toes are forward. We're going to push those hips back. Remember, you can omit the overhead press altogether. If it's not comfortable for you, you can just take it to a bicep curl right here. Boom. Okay. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you, okay? If you feel like you're getting dizzy or anything like that, please just, take a break, okay? Listen to your body, all right? It's always giving us feedback. 3, 2, and 1, okay. Next one is our alternating reverse lunge. Remember, if you're advanced, you're just gonna do it without any assistance. You're somewhere in between. You're gonna have your chair this way or this way, okay? And if you're seated with me, we are doing an alternating leg press, okay? So I'm sitting closer towards the front of my chair so that I can scoot back a little bit here for the seated variation. I'm imagining I'm pressing something really heavy with my heel of my foot. All right. When heavy or lifting up out of something like quicksand or something like that, you're going to get a little more muscle activation, okay? Because we're present with our muscles. We're thinking about what they're doing. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Final exercise, you're going to do single arm rows on each side for the bottom of round 1. So you're going to select a weight that feels good for you. Okay. You can split stance on the back of your chair here. Okay. Keep your hips facing forward. Okay. So don't let, as you're rowing up, don't let this hip peekaboo towards me. Okay. All right. Keep the hips forward the whole time. Boom. All right. I'm going to do seated. So I'm just kind of right here. Next 45 seconds, we'll do the other side, and that will be round 1, okay? We have 10 more seconds on this side. 5, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay. Let's get set up for the other side. Okay. Whew. Getting your drinks whenever you need it. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. And remember, the purpose for training single arm exercises like we're doing right here, okay, is in case, you might have one side of the body that's stronger than the other, right? And what happens is when you're using both sides of the body to lift something, the stronger body says to the weaker body, I can help you, I'll help you out, right? Well, I mean, that's awfully nice, but that doesn't really get the other side any stronger, right? So when we do single arm, or single limb rather, we can't let the other side of the body help. 3, 2, and time. Okay, that's round 1, guys. We're going back to the top with our ground overhead, okay? So 1 dumbbell that's heavier or 2 lighter dumbbells, okay? We're gonna pick it up and put it on the shelf, okay? Feet are wider than shoulder width so we can pick up the object in between our feet, pick it up, put it away. My glutes are engaged. When right here I start squeezing, and I keep them like that, right? Until I start to bend down again. Squeeze, 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 hold, and now bend down, release, okay? Remember, you can omit the overhead press if it's uncomfortable, okay? We all have limitations to some varying degree in some part of our body. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're moving on to lunges. Remember, you've got complete body weight with no support. You can hold on to the back of the chair or the side of the chair, or do your seated alternating leg press, okay? Here we go. I'm just gonna take it back. Now remember, if you ever feel like your balance is a factor here, check to make sure you don't want to be tandem, like one in front of the other. You want to have that space between your legs because that's going to give you a wider base of support and increase your balance, okay? And don't forget the chair too, right? That's your that's your fail safe right there. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're back to single arm rows, okay? We're gonna select our weight. All right, hold on to the back of my chair here. All right, my core is engaged, so I slightly lean forward. Here we go, I'm gonna pull. Remember, it's the back muscle initiating this pull, okay? You're not letting the elbow come too far out from the rib cage. Just enough room so that you can pull it back and up. The arm, the bicep, is actually the secondary muscle group we're using. The prime mover here is our lat and our back, okay? Three, 2, and 1. Good. Rest. We're going to switch up to the other side. All right, here we go in 5, 3, 2, and 1. This is the bottom of round 2. We're going to go through it one more time after this. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Woo. All right, we've got one more round, okay? Ground to overhead. Make sure you're getting your drinks and staying hydrated, okay? If you need to take some extra recovery time, that's okay, all right? Wider than about shoulder width apart here, a little bit wider. We're gonna pick it up, put it away. Pick it up, put it away, okay? Remember, when I start to pick it up from right here, I'm squeezing, 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 pull, okay? And I'm talking about the glutes when I say that, okay? So I'm holding the glutes in a tight squeeze as I press overhead. Final set of these, and we've only got about 10 seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. All done with those. Final set of lunges, okay? Remember your different variations. And I forgot to say round 2. If you're having any issues with your feet, maybe a lateral lunge is a better option for you, okay? Alternating. Ready? Here we go. Remember, when we lunge, it's primarily the front leg that we're working on. That's not to say you won't feel some activation in the back leg, but I want you to put your mind on this one, driving up through that heel. The heel should be in contact with the floor. You press up through it, okay? Ten more seconds. Then we're gonna go back to single arm rows. And time on lunges, all done with those. Single arm rows on each side, and then we're gonna finish off with a 6-minute of our warm up, okay? Just one round through of our warm up. We're gonna use our warm up as our cool down. All right, here we go, single arm row. Core is engaged. All right, imagine that you're looking over a well and you're pulling a heavy bucket up out of the well, right? Think about what that would feel like if you have to lift something heavy, if you have to pull something heavy, okay? Ten more seconds here. 2 and 1. Recover. Just one more side to go. And then we're going to finish it off with our 5.5-minute finisher, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Remember, my back muscle, the lat muscle, is the initiator, right? It helps pull my elbow back and up, and that weight follows. That's in my hand. Keeping the core engaged. I'm constantly trying to pull that belly button back towards my spine. Just 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and time. Nice work, guys. Get a drink, okay? Get a drink. We're going back to the warm-up moves. This is gonna double as a kind of shaking out the body, you know, kind of shaking off the weight work we just did, and then we'll just do a couple light stretches, okay? All right, so we're going back to 4-count cherry pickers and side bends, okay? And you can go a little slower this last one, just to feel the stretches a little more, okay? All right, so we're going for 30 seconds of 4-count cherry pickers, wider than shoulder width, toes are forward, okay? This is like our pick it up, put it away stance, okay? All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. All right, and I'm just taking it a little bit slower now. And trying to feel some stretching through the back side of my body. You might notice that you have a little more mobility at the end of the workout than you did in the beginning, and you might not. It's fine either way. It's just something, you know, we're just being aware. And time. So now we're going to go into our side bends. And I'm just taking them a little bit slower so I can enjoy that stretch through the side body. And remember, if ever head hurts, you're coming out and up, okay? And that should help alleviate some shoulder discomfort. 5 more seconds here. Okay, that static lateral lunge, that hip switch. Okay, so now we're just kind of, you can actually hold. What we'll do for this one here is we'll hold for 15 each side. So we're just gonna hold, and I'll tell you when to switch. Okay, if you're seated, you're just gonna hold an abduction. And we're gonna switch in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Boom. Other side. All right, so we're just getting this active stretch through the static stretch through our hip flexors and groin. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Squat to calf raise. Okay. Heels are shoulder width apart. Here we go. Down, up. You can hold on to a chair if you need to. Remember, you do an alternating leg extension with a heel raise if you're seated. Jumping jacks are next. And time. Okay, so remember, you can come up overhead, or you can come halfway up, or you can pull back, okay? Your choice with the arms here. Ready? Here we go. We're gonna go right into our side step squats after this. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna step to the side and squat. Other side. Step to the side and squat. Good. Good. Almost done, guys. Yeah. Should have done this with your 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay. Round overhead is next. Our final one here. So this is our pick it up and put it away. All right. Here we go. Pick it up, put it away. Okay. Take these moments when we're body weight to really feel like, is your core braced? Are you pulling it in? Okay, and I brace, I mean, like, say if you knew somebody was going to come and like drop kick you in the stomach. I know that sounds aggressive, but honestly, think about your knee-jerk reaction. You'd brace, right? You'd brace in preparation for that hit, okay? So that's what I mean when I say bracing, okay? All right, last one here, 2 squats and a knee raise, okay? Squat, squat, knee, okay? And knee. Good. Almost done. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, guys, that is it. Let's get a drink. Okay, so now we tried to pull back the intensity a little bit on that last round. All right, and we're just going to do a couple light stretches and be on with our day. Okay, so get yourself a drink. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're feeling, you know, like your heart rate's come down a little bit before you go ahead and bend over. Okay, this is kind of, it's like a modified down dog. Okay, this is like a down dog from a standing position. All right, so stretches the whole, the shoulder girdle, the back of the legs, the glutes. You can gently sway side to side if you like, and feel it kind of stretch on either side of your sacrum, or you can stay completely still, whatever feels good. Good. When you're ready, let's just very slowly walk ourselves up. All right, we're gonna put one foot forward and the other back, but that back foot, I wanna make sure the heel stays on the ground, okay? You might need to adjust your feet when you start to do this, that's normal, okay? What I want you to do is keep that back heel, keep it on the ground, and then bump that knee forward, like you're trying to bring the knee towards the chair. You should feel a stretch through your ankle and your calf here, okay? Your heel pops up off the floor, move the space between your front and back leg and see if adjusting it helps, okay? Good. And then let's come out of that, and we're just gonna go ahead and switch sides here, okay? So I'm doing a split stance, all right? My heel is on contact with the floor. I'm gonna pop that knee forward, but keep that heel. And I can tell already doing one, this side for me has more ankle mobility than the other. So you might take notice of those little, you know, differences you have in your body, right? It's just, knowledge is power, right? So just being aware of those little imbalances is gonna help level you up, because you know, okay, you know, it's normal to have imbalances, you know, and you can address them more. All right, come on out of that. Just 2 more stretches. We're gonna come across the chest, pulling down and over, okay? So this is where you might feel, if you're really tight, you might feel some through here, okay? And you're also gonna imagine that space between your spine and your scapula, okay? The wing of that scapula. I want you to think of that stretch, that you're elongating muscle fibers in your upper back there, okay? Good. All right, let's release. Same thing, other side. Pulling down and over, okay? Visualizing those muscle fibers. You don't even have to know what they look like, just imagine them, and your mind will take you to that part of your body, right? Good. One more breath here. Okay, and then we're just gonna finish up with neck and trap. Okay, so we're gonna press and pull. Okay. If you're advanced, you might be able to bend at that elbow. Okay. If it feels like too much, don't, it's about taking the stretch to your edge without making yourself like, you're not trying to be in pain while you're stretching, because what happens is the muscle you're intending to stretch seizes up because it's trying to protect itself. Okay, so you're just taking it to its edge where you feel some stretch, but where you're not forcing it. All right. The idea is to relax the muscle, right? Okay, same thing, other side, right? So right here, pressing and pulling a little bit. You can stay right at this, or if you feel like you want to take it just a notch further and it's comfortable, it's okay. You can go ahead and bend at the elbow. Excellent. All right, let's come back to center. A couple shoulder rolls back here, and then let's go ahead and take a big inhale up. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's workout. And